Ossewakop, which translates from Afrikaans into Oxwagon Hill, looms above the small Mpumalanga town of Wakkerstroom on its eastern side, with the peak being approximately 400 meters higher than the settlement. The hill is impossible to miss, as some enterprising residents have created the large outline of a voortrekker wagon and the dates 1838 to 1938 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of the Great Trek, with whitewashed rocks on the slopes just below the summit. The route up the mountain is difficult and tortuous, so please read the cautionary notes before embarking on this trip. The remarkable views over the town and its surrounds from the beacon on top of the mountain certainly make the effort to get up there worthwhile. Don't attempt this route unless you're driving a four-wheel drive vehicle with high clearance. A low-range gearbox is not required, but a diff lock would be a good idea. Don't be fooled by the video or by the statistics, as this route is a lot steeper and more difficult than what it appears. There's a short stretch which comes immediately after the second concrete paved section, where it seems that someone has deliberately created a diamond-shaped lattice of holes evenly spaced on the left and right sides. The effect of these holes is to get your vehicle cross-axled. This means that you'll end up with one of your front wheels and the opposite rear wheel off the ground. Older 4x4s have no answer for this, and you'll end up stuck and stationary, as the differentials will always send power along the easiest route, in other words to the free spinning wheels. Activating a diff lock here will solve the problem. Most modern 4x4s don't have the same issue, as the controlling computer is intelligent enough to overcome this. Why this obstacle exists here is a mystery. Perhaps it's used for off-road training. Before you get going on the route, please tell someone at your accommodation establishment where you're going, and make sure that you have their telephone number with you in case of a problem. There is cell phone reception along most of the route. The route along the top of the ridge consists mainly of a rough, rocky track. Make sure that your vehicle is fitted with all-terrain tires and deflate them to around 1.4 bar. Not only will this give you additional traction, it will also make your ride more comfortable and reduce the risk of getting a puncture. Check that you have the necessary tools to change your wheel, and ensure that you have a spare which is inflated correctly. If your vehicle is fitted with a removable tow bar, take it off, especially if it's mounted lower than the rear bumper. There are a few places where there are substantial steps, and the tow bar will catch on these and get damaged. This applies in particular if you're driving a vehicle with an inadequate departure angle, like a double cab bucky. If you're taking passengers along with you, warn them in advance that the trip is going to be extremely bumpy and that they'll be bounced around in the vehicle. Drivers often forget that they have the steering wheel to hang onto and the passengers don't. Stick to the track and don't go wandering off over the farmers' pastures. There are animals everywhere and lots of birds, and you could easily drive over burrows or nests. Try not to disturb the cows too much. The rule of thumb with regards to any gates that you encounter is quite simple. If it's open when you get there, leave it open, and if it's closed, open it, drive through, and close it again. Please respect the environment and remove any litter that you or anyone else has discarded. If you're a smoker, take your cigarette butts back with you, and be careful that you don't start a fire in the grass if it's dry. If you see some of the locals standing on the side of the road clapping their hands, you should understand that they're not applauding your driving skills or your expensive vehicle. They're asking you for a gift or a lift into town, and usually both. Allow yourself enough time to do this route. You'll need about an hour and a half to complete it, factoring in some time spent at the summit. To be on the top of the mountain to watch the sunset would be an incredible experience, but make sure that you get back down again before it gets dark. We've described the route in the ascending mode, as this is the direction that first-time users will have to drive it, but we did film it in the descending mode as well. The first section of the route consists of a bumpy two-spur track which undulates across the grasslands towards rural dwellings in the distance. There's nothing particularly difficult about this section, although it would definitely be a problem in wet weather. Be sure to watch part 2 of the Ossewakop trail, which features the descent and some of the fantastic views.